Alright, Schlockmeister fans, from 1974. It's alive. Let's check it out. This is Lenore, her husband Frank. They're expecting their second child. The time is now. So they head to the hospital, very excited.
I'm having my baby.
It's their second child, actually.
Gonna be fine, but I need your help. You know what, Nava? How big was your last baby? How big was your last baby?
7 pounds, 4 ounces. I told you that this baby was different than Chris.
Well, it's a gigantic baby, and Frank is in the waiting room looking at other babies when all of a sudden one of the doctors or nurses comes out of the room and collapses in a bloody heap. So he wanders into the hospital room and finds a bloody mess there too. Something's clearly messed up.
They stole my baby.
Apparently she gave birth to a monster.
Somebody might have abducted our baby, and I'm holding this hospital responsible. That hole in the skylight isn't large enough for a full-sized human being.
Whatever it is, you can't classify it as an animal. It's a human, Doctor. That's what's disgusting to you, isn't it? It kills like an animal.
Required exclusive information naming Mr. and Mrs. Frank Davis, West Los Angeles, as the parents of the infant in question. Whereabouts of the newborn child are not known. They're nameless.
This lady heard her crying, went to investigate.
Vacation.
His boss wants him to take a vacation.
A good idea if you took it now.
Basically, he's going to fire him. Bad publicity.
Will you get that goddamn thing out of my face? Get out of the way! Never, I don't know what it looks like. Never mind my baby. Leave my wife out of it. You understand me?
They find that woman's body.
Hunting and killing babies doesn't seem to be my specialty.
Back in the 70s, they still had milkmen who would make runs. And clearly, our killer baby's hopping in.
How long has she been taking birth control pills before this pregnancy?
31 months.
You realize, of course, that I came from the East specifically.
Apparently, these pills have caused the deformity.
I realize that it is a police problem.
The baby apparently found its way into a school.
As much as anybody else. Realize that. You realize. But why is everybody looking at me? Yeah.
Frank wants this thing killed just like everybody else does. Back at home, Frank checks out the meat in his freezer. Everything looks to be kosher. But when he checks the freezer later on, the meat's gone. Meanwhile, Mother has been sneaking around in the basement. Their other son goes down there later on as well. The place is a mess. And there's a couple of dead cats on the floor, too. Chris, meet your little brother.
Look out.
Daddy isn't swayed.
I'm sure I hit it.
So the thing is now injured. They follow the blood trail, leads to the sewers.
That's it. That's how it can travel the length of the city without anybody seeing it.
So the cops are sent down there to hunt it. Frank comes across it before anybody else does, and he starts to have a change of heart.
Because if you cry, they'll hear you and they'll come.
So he's going to try to escape with the baby.
All right, just stop there. Stop right there.
The baby leaps from Frank's arms into the arms of the bad doctor. The cops get overzealous and shoot. Take down both the doctor and the baby.
I understand. Another one's been born in Seattle.
All right, Schlockmeister fans. Let's talk about It's Alive. Larry Cohen directed this film. It's one of his third or fourth film that he actually directed. You might remember him from The Stuff and Q and God Told Me To. This is a movie about a killer baby. I remember seeing this movie on cable. It showed up maybe around 1986 or 87 or so. I'd never seen it before. And then I watched it and I really liked it, so I ended up taping it. Great film. Came out in 1974. It's a PG-rated film, actually. It's pretty well remembered for those people who saw it, and it spawned a couple of sequels as well as a remake. Apparently, the woman has been taking these pills, contraceptive pills, for quite a while, and then when she gets off of them, she decides to have a baby with her husband, so they get pregnant. They go into labor, and then at the in the hospital room, she gives birth to a gigantic baby. That's what the doctor said. The baby's gigantic. We don't see what happens, but suddenly a nurse comes out of the room, stumbling in a bloody heap. Frank, the father, goes into the room and sees his wife screaming and everything, and she's the only one alive in the room. There's no sign of the baby, and all the doctors and nurses are in a bloody mess on the floor. Turns out she gave birth to some deformed, hideous monster baby. And it's big enough and self-sufficient enough where it can run around the city killing people. And it does that. It kills a strange lady, or not strange lady, a stranger, a woman on the street, breaks into this milk truck and kills the milkman. Eventually, what we determine is that apparently the baby found its way back home to Frank and his wife. And the wife, whose name I forget, Chanel was it? I can't remember. But anyway, she's been taking care of the baby sometimes in the basement of their house, and has an affection for it. Well, Frank, up until this point, has been like, whatever the hell this thing is, it's not really a baby to me. I want this thing killed and gone just like everybody else does. And, there's a manhunt in the city, or a baby hunt, I guess you could say. Well, he ends up trying to shoot the baby in the basement. The baby escapes, ends up in the sewers where it's been hiding out sometimes too. And then the city goes down there, the cops, and then Frank goes down there as well to try to find the baby. Well, Frank finds it before anybody else does. The baby's shot and bleeding at this point and in pain. And then Frank has a complete change of heart and has some affection for his son, his deformed baby son. So he tries to grab the baby to get out of there and escape, but they catch him on the way out. And then all the cops have their guns pointed at him, and he's like, no, don't shoot. Let's let's study it. Just don't kill it. And then all of a sudden, according to IMDb, the baby jumped from Frank's arms towards this doctor who would prescribe these bad contraceptive pills or something like that, which led to the deformed baby being born. The doctor had been screaming, kill it, shoot it, that sort of thing too. And then, of course, the cops got overzealous and started shooting at it. And then they ended up shooting the doctor too, because the baby landed in the doctor's arms. Now, when I watched the movie, it looked like Frank kind of tossed the baby at the guy, but it's hard to tell. Who knows what happened. Then the last scene in the movie, Frank and his wife are in the police car, and they get a report over the police radio that another baby like this has been born in Seattle. That's how our movie ends. There you go. It's Alive. Now, again, this spawned a sequel, It Lives Again, which came out, I think, in 1976. And then It's Alive 3, Island of the Alive, which came out maybe 1986, 87, somewhere in that range too. I remember that one being actually pretty good as well. But yeah, that's it. It's Alive. There's only one thing wrong with the Davis baby. It's Alive. This is a pretty darn good movie, actually. Pretty entertaining, pretty memorable if you saw this back in the day, or late night television, on the late night horror hosts and stuff. Fridays and Saturday nights when you were a kid. Again, I didn't see this until I was a teenager, but pretty good film. Check it out. Leave some comments. I know what you think about it. It's alive. I believe this has been released on the Blu-ray since then. I think I may have been Screen Factory that put this out. I think they put out the trilogy on a Blu-ray set actually, but I have all three individually that I have had on DVD for a long time. So check it out. Leave some comments on what you think about it. It's alive. Watch it. Bye.